Hey everyone, Steph from Rocket Times here. So we discussed about the header. Now let's discuss about the content of the Creativo Business template. So the first element on the page, as we already discussed, is a slider. And this slider is created with Slider Evolution. What that means is if I'm trying to edit this page with Elementor, now I won't be able to make any changes for this content here. Why? Because, well, simply this is just a section with a column inside it, and we have the element slider evolution 6, which only allows us to choose the actual slider used, but we cannot customize it directly here. I can go here, for instance, and maybe change this one, change these elements the way I want. I don't know, stuff like that. But this is not going to work for the slider. So let me undo the changes. Command Z or Control Z if you're on Windows. So let's go to our dashboard. I'm going to exit the Elementor editor. Let's go to the WordPress dashboard, scroll down and find the slider evolution. Now, we have here our slider that appears on the home page. So to edit this, we have to click on Open in Editor. And we can now start tweaking our actual slider. Now, each element is similar to Elementor in terms of trying to modify them. So you can see here the content. You can also do changes in terms of design. For instance, let's see what can we change here. Design is about solving real life business problems. Let's say that programming is just as cool as designing. I don't know. Now let's go to style, and we can see here we have a 72 pixels, and this applies for the desktop, right? You can see 72 for desktop, 50 for tablets, and then 50 as well for mobile. So maybe you want to make this, I don't know, like 80. You can also drag this to make it, in case the text is hidden, you can make it a bit bigger because we have a specified height here. You can drag it around. For instance, you may want to align it in center. Okay. Let's do the same for this one, align center. Let's try to do with this one as well, center. But now I'm using my keyboard and the arrows to go a bit to the right. And let's do the same for this button, but more to the left. Yeah, I think this one looks quite decent. Let's see, what else can we do here? Well, what about making this text centered? Let's go to content, make sure this is selected, and then we have here this option, which makes the text appear centered. Maybe this one should be a bit lower, and this one should be higher. And also under content, make sure this is centered as well. And let's go to style and make this one maybe I don't know, 20 pixels, something like that. And let's go back to style. So maybe go with 30 pixels. Yeah, okay, so this one looks cool. So this is how you change the overall content. Everything is done here. If we go here under, what is it? The background, I think it's called. So the source, we have the background slide option. For this specific slide, we have the background, which is an image. And we can set this to be as cover. We want the image to take the entire height and width of your slider. So let's go under media library And maybe, just maybe, we can use a different image. But obviously we need a high quality image. Let's see if we can find something better. Okay. This one is too small. Let's try with this one. So cool. I mean, the image appears, but you know, the text is very hard to read. What we could do is set a background for this element, or we could make like add a new layer. Let's see. Let's go under this button or no. Let's click on design is about solving whatever. So maybe we want to add like a square or rectangle behind it, behind this content, so we can set the background color. So let's go with shape. Okay, and we can drag this one to appear here. Obviously, we need to drag this here in the timeline. Make sure it appears as the first element so that it appears as the first element, okay? And let's try to center this. All right, I'm going to use my keyboard again. So if I am to save this now, we have the preview option, but I want to save. And now we visit our homepage. Obviously, the slider has changed. I mean, the rest of the slides still look the same, but the first element has changed. Okay, it looks cool. I'm not sure about this background image, so I would probably try to change that with something else. I don't know, maybe this one. So we could get rid of this square if you don't like it. Yeah, okay, much better. So let's try to saving slide, go back. Cool. So let's say that I only want to use like this slide. I can go here and navigate to the different slides. Slide 2, slide 3. Obviously, you can do the same changes that I've showed you like for the first slide. For this example, I'm simply going to delete the second slide and the third slide and the fourth slide as well. I only want to have like one slide. I'm saving the slider, go back. And now we only have this slide. And one recommendation I would provide to you is that if you are only going to use like something like this, you don't really need to use slider evolution. Slider evolution is great if you have like multiple slides and you want to impress your visitors, but keep in mind that the downside of using a plugin such as slider evolution or layer slider or whatever you're using means that your site will load a bit slower. Why? Because slider evolution has its own JavaScript, CSS files which need resources to be loaded. So what if instead of using a slider, we could create the same layout using Elementor? Would that be possible? And I'm going to show that in just the next video tutorial. So keep in mind that editing the first element, which is a slider, if you edit your page with Elementor and you are unable to edit the first element, it's probably because that's a slider. Okay? And you've seen how you can modify your own slides with your own content. You can obviously clone. So now I have the second slide. Let's try to go to the background And I'm not sure if I have. Oh, I think we can use this one. And let's try to change the content as well. Let's say design is just as cool as, programming. And now if I save the slider and go back, obviously I will have a slider with 2 slides. Okay, so it's extremely easy to customize the slider. Now, I mentioned that if you only have like one slide, I always recommend to not use any additional plugins to create something like a slider, because it doesn't make any sense. We can use Elementor to create this specific slide. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the next tutorial. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. And as always, see you next time. Bye-bye.